Hi everyone, Cherry here. As a lot of you know or may have noticed, my webcomic The Great Zazzil has been on hiatus for about a year now, and I am finally getting to a place where I am ready to bring it back. And today I wanted to share my thumbnail process with you. I'm only going to talk for a minute, then I'm going to speed the rest of this up and, let you guys just watch to the end. But I just wanted to take a second to share some things about the thumbnailing process with you. Thumbnailing is really important, especially when you're doing a scroll style webcomic, so that you can get an accurate sort of depiction of like your spacing, and if you need a beat, a pause for readability, you can allow yourself the space for that where you want things to impact, because scrolling really does have a flow to it, and that's definitely something that I have picked up on over my years of working on webcomics. And of course, if anybody has a better way of doing things, I absolutely want to hear it, but this might help somebody, so I just kind of want to share what I do and why I do it. So the left side of the screen is going to be a zoomed in sort of version of the current page of thumbnail, and I say page. I break it down. I think it was, I had been doing Tapastic originally, and they say like a file, like a page, quote unquote, should be 1280 by 720 pixels. And that's kind of what I justify a page as, but there's definitely different ways you can work on that and ways you can export them in Clip Studio, which I can definitely make a video on that later. But for all intents and purposes, I am viewing these pages in the 1280 by 720 sort of set. But they all scroll together once you actually put them into like Webtoon, Tapas, whatever. And these thumbnails are not meant to be incredibly detailed. They're not meant to be like actual sketches that I'm going to go back and clean up. Basically, when I am writing my webcomic, I write out a general script, and then I go through that script and break up what I think a panel would be, what chunks of that script it would take up, and then I'll come in and do like sort of these stick figure drawings and show just like a visual note to myself of what I was thinking when I wrote this scene, because it is so... Actually, drawing a webcomic is very tedious work, and one thing I learned very early on is that if you are guessing when you are trying to figure out like, oh, well, what should fill this space? What would look cool? How do I construe this? Sometimes that's hard anyway, even when you're doing thumbnails, but like if you're spending 5 minutes at a time on a thumbnail, it's less time consuming trying to get a rough idea of perspective and who's in a frame, and is this taking up enough space, and what do I need to do here? It's as opposed to if you're actually sketching something out and then you spend 20-30 minutes on a sketch and decide, oh, actually I don't like this, I want to try something else, and then you spend another 20-30 minutes, and then you're going back and forth trying to figure it out. For me, this takes a lot of the guesswork out, and it just provides a nice little roadmap to what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm not going to put every last detail in the thumbnail or anything, but there's going to be important things like where my protagonist is standing, and oh, there's this altar that is a point of interest and kind of important to this prologue. This is a prologue, by the way. I wanted to add a prologue chapter to the beginning of my webcomic, so be on the lookout for that. I don't have a link to Webtoon yet, but I will put a link to Tapas in the description because Zazzil has been the most active there, but he will be coming to Webtoon soon. I will, if you know, you know, I will be trying to figure out a way to make him more palatable for Webtoon, because Webtoon didn't really like him before. He did not, the moderators on Webtoon didn't like him. Can't imagine why. Can't imagine why. Anyway, but like I said, I just wanted to talk briefly so you guys can see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and yeah, if you are interested, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. I'll speed the rest of it up so you can see the thumbnails happen much faster and it won't be horribly boring. And I plan on doing more of these in the future. I would like to do like a video compilation of making pages and things. I just in general want to document the process. I like drawing with people. I like watching things go from beginning to end, how they start and how they end, I mean, and I just would like to share the making of. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but if you're interested, I would be happy to have you along for this journey. And if you watched up to this point, thank you so much. If you watched the end, thank you even more. You are beautiful. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!